This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. My guest today is Borja Villalobos. Borja is the founder or the co-founder of Banger Games, which is a decentralized gaming ecosystem that rewards players using a blockchain-based crypto economy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is a pleasure to have you here. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. Borja, I'll invite you to please introduce yourself. Love to hear a little bit about your personal backstory and what you've been doing in the lead up to co-founding Banger Games.
Okay, so I'm Borja. I'm 26 years old. I'm as you mentioned, the co-founder. There's another founder with me, Nicholas. We've been partnering in many ventures together since around 6 years ago. And yeah, it all started with a change in my life. I used to do other stuff before, completely different. I've been a gamer most of my life. When I was a kid, I was completely on the screens all the time. Then I had a kind of a turnover. I became a completely different person that would tell you to get outside, to enjoy life, to stop wasting time on video games. And when I was 20 years old, after a lot of traveling and doing different things, I had a motorbike crash, a big one. So I think that was my comeback to gaming. I was left on a wheelchair for almost 2 years, couldn't walk for 3. And yeah, I think gaming for me was a huge solution. I'm a very competitive person, and gaming was the only place where I could still compete. The avatar was the only thing that wasn't broken. And I started gaming hardcore again, maybe spending 5-8 hours a day and working at night on other stuff. We created, together with my partner, a talent agency where we developed software for companies, and we've been in crypto for a long time. I've been in crypto since late 2015, my partner since 2017. So I think these two things that were our passion on the back of working on e-commerce and on software development were just a good click. We were also old enough to realize that the gaming industry is just like any other entertainment industry, where in most social media, the user ends up becoming the product, or is basically the product. And we've tested a lot of platforms that allow you to participate on competition, esports, and this kind of side of gaming. And we thought that we could do something that rewarded in a better way to the gamers. And for us, blockchain was something that helped us from the beginning on creating a company from scratch in a new model, but also we believe that it's the way to offer transparency, to offer trust, to offer better scalability, and all of this will end up being implemented in many industries, but definitely gaming is a great one to have. So I think that's a bit of how we came together as Banger Games. We started in April 2020 officially. So that was also when COVID hit hard. And yeah, it was probably the best moment to start a company, but a very difficult one.
Yeah. And well, that's quite an interesting story that you have then, Borja. Like I mean, this idea of, it sounds like you had a really serious motorbike accident, and then it's like that kind of, I guess, movie archetype of having a broken body, but setting yourself free in the digital realm and being able to compete and play again. And how long ago was this accident? Did you say that you didn't walk for 3 years? That's pretty serious.
So that was 2017. I'm completely fine now. So just to mention,
I'm pleased to hear that.
Me too. No, I'm very grateful for how I've recovered. Doctors at the beginning told me that I should start not kind of giving up, but just realizing of the gravity of the seriousness of my injuries, and just to start adapting into life. And I was like, okay, just change doctor. So I went through, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 different doctors. I had 11 surgeries in a period of 3 years. And yeah, since September, yeah, I think it's end of September and October 2017 till yeah, maybe like May, June 2020. I couldn't walk properly. I was always with crouches or or in a wheelchair.
Wow. Well, hey, pleased to hear that you've made a full recovery. So let's, dive into Banger Games then. And so I've just been looking at the website, and listeners, if you want to see it, I mean, the website is simply bangergames.com. And so I can see, I mean, the idea is to, I suppose, build a community of gamers and kind of make the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, ownership of your in-game assets, gamified objectives, rewards, collectibles, NFTs, I'm sure, all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, love to hear it from you, Borja. So yeah, tell us, I suppose, what is the vision behind Banger Games? Where do you guys want to take this?
So our vision here is that gamers overall lack a central hub to live their best gaming life. There is a lot of friction within the big players in the industry. So I'm talking about platforms where you play, let's say Xbox, a PlayStation, PC, or a mobile. All of these platforms are basically competition. They don't share data between each other, and nor do the games in most cases. So you have a lot of different publishers and game creators that, you may see on that game how much time you're spending, but you don't know from one game what you're spending on the other. So we start off as a data tracking platform for all games and all platforms, where gamers can then go back, and while they're playing regularly, as they already do, they can come back to Banger and see a user profile with all of their stats across different games, including how much time they spend, what's their improvement in that game, what's their, kills or goals or assists or rankings and leaderboards. So this also leads into a social platform where they can interact with another community. It's quite challenging to find friends as a gamer online. So this will also open a lot of doors, and obviously build and engaging with different teams, making a casual gamer kind of feel like a professional. This may only happen to the 1-2% of each game, which is what we could consider esports. So that's one part of the value that we bring. Then on the other hand, we're also a creators platform. So people can participate or create smart competition. I mean smart because it's all based on the blockchain and automated through smart contracts. So ensuring that we as Banger don't touch directly the money of the users, as it would happen on other companies like Faceit, for example. So people can create and participate on tournaments on top of games. They can set the rules, the entry ticket, if it's free, if it's sponsored. There's so many different ways of actually doing it. It's a table full of opportunities. And then besides that, we also set daily, weekly, monthly objectives on top of games that would help a player improve as a user improve as a player. So let's say kill with a certain weapon that just came out of the game, like a knife or whatever, and hit a certain ratio of headshots on a game, or improve your accuracy level by a certain percentage, score a certain amount of goals. This kind of objectives can also lead you to earn on the platform without participating directly on a tournament, right? So people can still play what they're already playing. They can start earning. They can start interacting within each other, and all of this value that we give to the gamers doesn't stay there, because it also brings value to the publisher himself, right? So most of these KPIs all of these KPIs are actually good for the game. The game gets a cut of every time a user gets paid on the platform. So they're basically accumulating in a clay model as well, a new source of income. And then on the other hand, we're increasing their KPIs, such as giving the gamers a better excuse to participate on that game rather than just fun and I don't want to say addiction, but there's many cases that it's just because of that. So we're turning it into something profitable and that makes sense. And then on the other hand, we're increasing activity and recurrency of that user coming into the game, logging in every day, and staying for a certain period of time.
Yeah, makes sense. And Borja, are there any? Can you talk about any games at the moment that you've integrated or that you're working with?
So we will be launching right now. We're on a closed beta testing or closed alpha testing that people can join in if they want. It's limited users, so it's about to get full. We launched it a couple of days ago, and it's basically over half a day full. We haven't spent anything on marketing, so it's we're actually very happy with how it's going, and it's on PUBG. We also integrated previously Counter-Strike, which we've been testing for the past year as well. Next games to be added are Call of Duty Warzone, Dota 2, Fortnite, FIFA. So all of the main Web 2 games is our main target. And then down the line, we will be opening up to Web3 games. But our first stage is actually targeting where the large mass of gamers are, and doing it in a very frictionless manner. Because if you mix crypto with gaming at the beginning, there's a big backlash yet, which I understand. There have been many scams and many, difficult things to sell from the NFT side of things. So when a gamer hears that word, he kind of gets scared, and many of them don't even understand or don't even know how to use blockchain or crypto. So our way to enter this market is basically from a Web2 perspective. We have a very, very easy to use platform. It's been developed by Fantasy. Fantasy is the world's top UX UI designer. They've done many products that you probably all have on your phones, like Twitter, Spotify, Netflix, Google, Facebook, Xbox. So with this Web2 company designing us in the best seamless way, we're coming to the Web2 gamers and trying to give them value through which they will end up understanding what blockchain is, what crypto is, step by step. And once they start earning their own curiosity on how to cash out, how to withdraw, what is this token, what is this NFT that I got on the side of gaming and playing, then they will follow that educational process in which it can not only benefit them, that they will discover a whole new world like we've all done probably a few years ago, but it will be a good window for the crypto industry as a whole, because we're at the end of the day targeting the next generation. Gamers are from all different ages, but there's a big portion of them that is definitely the next generation. And if they learn about crypto and about blockchain through gaming, then later they can jump into other things like DeFi or other protocols.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. In fact, Borja, I have a 12-year-old son, and he's a gamer. He's been through Fortnite. been through Roblox, all of that stuff. But one of the games, I could not tell you what it is, but one of the games that him and his mates like to play, it's like they trade cars, like exotic sports cars, like Bugattis and Ferraris. It's a trading game, but the trading mechanisms, I wouldn't call them sophisticated, but it's kind of, they're learning to trade in a way that is very similar to trading NFTs or DeFi or something like that. I'm sure you know the kind of games I mean.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing, and the biggest value of an NFT at the end of the day is ownership of that asset, which makes a lot of sense for in-game assets. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's just a race that doesn't only belong to us as a platform. We're trying to be that middleman in between a publisher and a gamer.
Yep.
And make this communication and this experience a lot better. But when it comes to traditional games accepting NFTs, a lot of this question is an ongoing one for a lot of people. When will a publisher accept NFTs? Will they ever? Blah blah blah. It's something that we still don't know. Like I believe that they definitely will. When would be the question, and who starts jumping into it, right? There are many that are considering, but at the end of the day, they have a sustainable business model as for now, and for them it's a bigger risk to change something than to not do it. So there will be a moment where they start pivoting, I'm sure, and they just need to realize that at the end of the day, giving ownership of an asset that you're selling, it's just basically creating a business on top of the business that you currently have. Because once you've done that sale of, let's say, a skin, you're opening the doors for a secondary market where you're going to get commissions and you're going to allow other people to do business and promote yours. But I don't think that they don't understand that either. It's just who and when, like how long would they currently have last in a good manner, and when is the time to pivot and lead a new wave.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's just a matter of time, but for one of these big companies, whether it's like a AAA game or it's a big TV company or a production house or a Disney or a Star Wars or a Fortnite or a Sony, whoever it is. And obviously a lot of these different properties have played around with NFTs or like metaverse properties a little bit, but eventually someone will go in big and they'll have maybe a big consumer hit, and then the dominoes will start to fall, I think.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I can see also on you've got it looks like a reasonably good bunch of investors behind the platform, Borja.
We do. We're very happy to count with a lot of support. It all started, as I mentioned before, back in 2020. We self-funded the company at the beginning, my business partner and I. And we started with a team of 11, then grew to 17, had a year and a half of just working nonstop on an MVP. And then at some point it was like, okay, we were actually trying to raise capital from the beginning on we only did a friends and family round, which if you have some people that trust you, kind of works at the beginning. But then we tried to continue with an equity round that was very hard to sell, I guess, because of the market conditions, because of talking about crypto to Spanish investors, which is where we basically started. And there wasn't a click there. So for us, actually just surviving that time and pushing ourselves and then reaching the step where we were going to launch the token was a massive change. And we actually we mapped out ideally who we would want to have on the cap table as investors. A bit of dreaming there because we hadn't been to any conferences. We just knew a lot of names. We've been in the space for a long bit, but our network was very limited. So we decided to go to big major events that were happening, some in Dubai, some in London, some in Portugal, and just invested a little bit of money on traveling to those events, definitely having our targets clear. As soon as someone was coming out of the stage that we wanted to meet, crashing into him and telling him our story and our project and showing him what we had, which was a lot of progress for that time that we had already spent, and we were already hosting some tournaments. We had an MVP. It only has improved from then. But I guess when the first investors came in, we got some very good quality in that sense. People like GSR, Janti, the co-founder of Polygon, David Watchman, Flory Ventures, Shima Capital. It kind of the ball started rolling and it became a domino effect. I guess we also caught the last bit of the bull market where everyone was sharing deal flow and a lot of people got to know us. Gaming has been a very juicy market, and we're trying to do something very different than what most people are used to in terms of launching a crypto game or a guild or something only dedicated to Web3 target. So I think people also like that. And yeah, now we're happy to say that we count with over 44 VCs that have invested, that have accepted our terms and conditions in terms of being locked and vested afterwards. So we will hopefully have a very healthy launch with a lot of support on the side. Many of these companies bring a lot of value, not just cold capital. We've always targeted people that we wanted to work with. So as I mentioned, Watchman is one of the best media agencies in the space. We also work with Market Across, who also invested. So GSR as market makers. And in that sense, what we try to do is always go first to the people that we're going to be working with to give them a better incentive on their investment than on them charging us money for invoices and for work as a regular client, right? Their main focus is actually helping us perform well. So their investment also performs well.
Very nice. And just as we start to finish off this part of the podcast, then Borja, if by the time this podcast goes out, let's say it's probably be 2 days from now, will that alpha release, will that be still available for registration, do you think? Can we point the listeners there, or will it be too late?
I believe it will. We're not going to stop the register, so anyone who wants to register can line up. If tournaments are full, we will just be adding more on top. I believe that registration will be open until end of January. And as I said, after we're not going to take the registration button out. It's just that we will need to see how much flow of people we have and then work with that. But we're here to provide experience and happy to do so. If people come, we will make sure to give them some gaming experience.
Awesome. And so that link is just bangergames.com/alpha. Simple as that. All right. Well, just before we go to the break, I don't know. Do you want to give any other shout outs to websites or your Twitter or why people should come and get involved with Banger Games?
Well, my Twitter is Borja Wakes Up. I say it in English with the J. In Spanish is Borja, but and shout out to the team that we have, which is great, which have actually organized this podcast, and it was again a pleasure to meet you, Andy. And whenever you want to have anyone else from the team, if so, at some point, we'll be happy to arrange that. And have a great day, everyone, and hope to see you on the platform soon.
And well, thank you for following me on Twitter. I saw you just followed me. And is that your ape with the McDonald's hat?
Correct. Correct. That was my first ape. Actually, we sold that one. We still keep one ape, but yeah, you need to also know how to exit trades. So we had 3 at the time. We sold 2. So yeah, I mean that's why it has the McDonald's hat. Right now we're on. For me, it's still on grinding and working mode, not celebrating bull market. And I think it's the best moment to concentrate on your business. So.
I agree. All right, let's go to a very quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll have some fun. We'll run Borja through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Back in 1 second.
In today's crypto market, the team at Brave New Coin are the sector's leading builders of custom crypto indices. BNC's powerful indexing engine draws on Brave New Coin's premium data to calculate high-frequency intraday and end-of-day indices for a wide range of index products. BNC's custom indices help you to gain exposure to the crypto assets class and track your performance against the market without having to become a stock picker. Not sure what you need? A Brave New Coin consultant can help you assess your requirements. Contact BNC today to find out more.
All right, we are back, and I'm with Borja Villalobos, which, he's Spanish. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but look, I do my best. It's the New Zealand accent. But Borja, as we've learned, is the co-founder of Banger Games, the decentralized gaming ecosystem. Borja, you may or may not know, but I like to finish each Crypto Conversation podcast with a quick round of rapid fire crypto conversation hot takes. Are you up for it?
For sure. Let's go.
Let's go, man. All right, I'm just going to run some questions at you. Just want like quick, rapid fire, hot take style answers. That's how we do it. Question 1 for you. Where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Oof, that's a good question. I think it all comes down to utility and what do you want a currency to be for. So I believe that Bitcoin is a project unlike any other. The fact that the biggest risk of a company is potentially, as we've seen actually on the last few months with a couple examples, the exposure of the team and the founders and how things play out. So in that sense, Bitcoin has no pain point of attack. If you see one day Mark Zuckerberg doing something very wrong, there's probably going to be a backlash on Meta stock, and the same has been going on with companies. So it's something that us founders need to be very aware of, and Bitcoin doesn't have that issue. It's basically the first and only currency that is for the people, and I think that's super unique. But at the same time, for utility in many other things, for example, gaming itself, with all of the microtransactions that happen, it maybe doesn't make full sense. So yeah, I think I'm definitely a big Bitcoin maximalist, but at the same time, I'm a big believer that it cannot be the only project out there, and that for different things you need different things. So yes, we have to see how multi-chain plays out. I think that's really the biggest key, differentiating into the value of money and then the utility of transactions and the new way of playing with the internet.
I like it. Makes sense to me. Borja, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So, with that in mind, Web3 gaming, blockchain gaming, what does it start to look like in 10 years' time?
Well, gaming as a whole is a huge industry. I think that the industry is expected to grow a double in the next, let's say, four years. So it's probably a very good quote from Bill Gates. Like, who can predict 10 years time? But I'm sure it will just keep growing and growing, and we will live in a more digitalized life, kind of like the movies represented, Ready Player One and others. Maybe 10 years time is not enough for that to be a thing, but I'm sure it will be much closer than what we are now.
Yes.
And in terms of crypto, I hope that by 10 years time, publishers will have realized definitely about the power of blockchain and have integrated just new ways of monetizing their games, of owning the in-game assets, and of allowing people to interact with in-game economies through just in a more direct way and a decentralized manner, not just through soft currencies.
I love it. All right. Borja, there's a famous quote by William Gibson. He said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Well, the best example, and I'm sure if this question comes out around to anyone else on this industry, would be that international money transactions and blockchain in general, for me, is a wave that I'm a huge believer and definitely dedicating all of my time into building on it. So we're still a very small percentage of people that have actually adopted this. I don't use a bank account at all, for example. So just to put that as an example, I don't believe that the traditional system is going to last forever, and that we are already playing and talking about the new transition. I do have a bank account, but I don't use it.
Yes, fantastic. Very nicely said. All right, let's start to close this out. Borja, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I couldn't pick one, to be honest.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Hey, in that case, we reach the end of the show. It has been fun talking to you, Borja. Again, just tell people where they can go to learn more about what you guys are building with Banger Games, and where they should sign up to get involved with the beta or the alpha.
Well, thanks for having me. And did you say that I should say where they need to sign up?
Yeah, sure.
So everyone can just go into the website, bangergames.com, and if they just type /alpha, they will find the registration part of the website. And again, thanks, Andy, for having me. It was a big pleasure to be here, and a good conversation.
Awesome, my man. It was a pleasure and a good conversation indeed. Thank you very much for coming on the show. All the best, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you go. That was Borja from Banger Games. Lots happening in the Web3 gaming space. Great to see. Enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed that as well. Thank you for listening, team. This is the end of the show. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Crypto Conversation in whatever podcast app you are using. Go check out the team at bangergames.com. And thanks for listening, team. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave New Coin. See ya.